Hello and good evening. It is Joe Justice. It is 9 o'clock on September 24th on Sunday, and I am here talking to you live. Just wanted to come in and ramble and rant for a little bit. It's interesting. I've been, doing some research and doing stuff. I've been doing kind of a live streaming thing for a little while now, so I've got enough data collected to kind of have an idea of, what I'm doing and what I'm thinking about doing, and just kind of get some thoughts together. And one of the things I've been thinking is, when it comes to live streaming, most people seem to be doing it late at night. And I was really curious to see if doing something late at night would have any kind of effect. Because I usually do things early in the morning. And I got to say, I'm a morning person. So I was kind of curious if we would get more live viewers. Obviously, the topics that I talk about do definitely affect how many views that I get, right? And you see that that's really common. Obviously, that makes sense. Sometimes I talk about whole foods. Sometimes I talk about body weight exercises, physical culture, motivation, trying to stay energetic and staying exciting. I guess this one would be a Monday motivation one, because this will probably be seen by most people tomorrow. I don't know. It seems like definitely most of the views come from later on, but you do see people, like the biggest streams that I see online are usually like Friday evenings. And I guess that all makes sense. It kind of reminds me, it's kind of like the old school television, like watching television live. It used to be prime time was the main time. So I'm going to experiment for a little while on different times of the week, different times of the day, to do the live streaming thing, see if I could get some more activity. Some of the newer shows that I've seen, they seem to be going at like 10 o'clock in the morning. That seems to be a pretty popular time, but also in the evening time, so like 8 and 9 o'clock in the evening time. And then I was looking at what of my videos through all the different platforms that I post on, which ones get the most number of views. And far and away, the most number of views go to ones where I talk about whole foods. So that tells me that there's something going on in the culture where there's lots of discussion on whole foods, and maybe it's the whole concept of, us having depleted foods, us having, less foods in the, less whole foods in the diet and less discussion of whole foods. So that's got me kind of interested in wanting to talk about that a little bit more. That's one of my favorite subjects. I know a lot of friends of mine, kind of get caught up in the whole concept of, the different kinds of diets. There's the Atkins diet, there's the Weight Watchers diet, there's the keto diet, there's the paleo diet. And conceptually, they're all kind of interesting. Of course, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian. You start naming off the diets, there's so many diets. But the one that's always made the most sense to me was the whole food diet, because it seems like to me that human beings are omnivores, right? Like we eat all kinds of different things. So that seems to make sense. Also seems to be that a lot of people are nervous, scared, just uneasy with the way the food system is now. We've got so many, in America in particular, we've got so much processed foods, and we've got so much foods that are depleted of nutrients. It's kind of funny. I've thought a lot about like the whole supplement industry when you think about it. Like there's two ways to think about it. One way is to think about it like supplements they don't really do anything. They're not that important because you can get all that food through diet. But then the other way to think of it is, man, if people are needing all of these supplements, maybe it's because they're not getting it in their food. Maybe those minerals, those vitamins, those kind of basic building blocks are not in the food anymore. I know they use a lot of different kinds of fertilizers and different kind of growing techniques that they wouldn't have had, once you get into, there's the conspiracy theory angle behind some of it, and you kind of have to, I don't know. I hate getting into that kind of stuff because, some of it's probably true. You get into talking about things like Monsanto and, GMOs and all that kind of stuff. And there's probably a lot of truth to that. But then at the same time, you probably come off sounding a little a little conspiratorial and a little nutty maybe. I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm really curious, and I would really love to know if you get a chance to watch this. I would love to know what you would like for me to talk about, some topics that I could bring up. I could do some deep dive research on some different topics. Right now I'm just kind of talking contemporaneously. Like I said, I'm playing around with maybe doing some different times. Obviously, when it comes to the live streamer space, I've kind of looked at the live streamer space, getting a little inside baseball with marketing and online stuff. But in the live streamer space, obviously, video games are the biggest thing. Like the biggest thing coming or going is people doing video games, live streaming their video games. That's a huge world of streaming. The next thing that I noticed that seems to be really popular is kind of like the roundtable discussions, which are kind of interesting because when I was a kid, when I was coming up in like the 90s and, the early 2000s and stuff, that was kind of what the political content was back then. I shouldn't even say political. Like you had like Bill Maher type shows and even the late night talk shows, like they were just kind of people sitting around a table and talking. And now that's like a really common live stream format. Like, now it's all done with like webcams now, and it's all done over, and generically I say Zoom. I know it's not really Zoom. It's, there's River Stream and Stream, StreamYard. There's all kinds of other tools that they use for streaming and chatting with each other and all kinds of stuff. But that seems to be a really popular, and they pick some topic of the day. Sometimes it's politics, sometimes it's video games, sometimes it's some other cultural thing, and they all kind of sit around and talk about it. Video games are so big when it comes to live streaming. Like that's like the biggest thing. If I could figure out some way to mash together like a live streaming, like video games and health and fitness news, I might have some kind of a breakthrough there. I wonder if anybody's done that. Does anybody know? Let me know. Has anybody like mashed together like some kind of a live stream that's based around video games? I bet that would do really, really well, like a live stream, like health and fitness based around video games. Obviously, there's tons of, streams around video games. So that seems to be the biggest thing in the space. And then, of course, you also have like the giveaway. Well, I guess they're auctions kind of thing. You also have like the people all over Facebook. If you just kind of go to Facebook and you check out what's live now, what's happening now. There's lots of auctions, giveaways. I would call them auctions. They're selling product. Maybe it's I don't know if it would be technically what you would consider an auction, but they're selling products. It kind of reminds me a lot of QVC, and maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know how that industry works. I don't know what that industry is exactly, where people do the live streaming of. I mean, it's like the old Tupperware parties that we used to have when we were kids, but they're all like live streamed. Cool. When I was a kid, I mean, obviously, there were adults that were doing those parties. The kids, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be so cool? Just like a bunch of like kids, like doing a Tupperware party. I could just imagine that. So I don't know what is going on in the world today with the live streaming stuff. I know that there always seems to be more activity in the evenings. So I think I'm going to experiment with doing some evening stuff instead of doing stuff in the morning. People are probably running around in the morning. And the whole podcast thing is doing really, really well. Everybody seems to be, I know everybody and their brother seems to be doing a podcast, but it's a really cool format and it's fun to talk to people. This podcast, the Home Gym Hustle Heroes, of course, I'm not really talking to people. I'm just, providing information, motivation, and inspiration. And, just kind of talking about different topics. Like I say, it's really cool to be able to put that stuff out there on Google and stuff and then see what gets downloaded, to see what gets the most interest. Like I said, the whole food stuff has gotten the most interest by far. So that's kind of interesting. I need to probably do some deep dive stuff into the whole food diet thing. That seems to be, like I say, that seems to be what people are more interested in. It's hard to do like a live stream on the only way to do a live stream on exercise would be to do the exercises, and to demonstrate the exercises, but then that wouldn't work as a podcast. So I'm always kind of think about ways of formats of talking into the mic. What does that actually look like? I know that my videos aren't very interesting to watch. And I'm sure it's just kind of like a background noise kind of thing. So I'm conscious of that. So I'm really curious if there's any topics that you guys would find interesting. Please do let me know. And if there's any other, if anybody watches any live streams, if there's a lot of live stream content that you watch that you would like me to kind of mimic or think that I could take some tips from, always looking for tips, always looking for new ideas. Love listening to the audience and love hearing what you guys have to say. So we've had a few people popping on and off here tonight. That's been cool. Please do leave me a comment, shoot me a message, let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to hear more of. Let me know if there's any topics I could do a deep dive on. Maybe I can do some presentations, some actual instead of just, kind of talking, actually bring up some facts and figures and stuff like that. Would be happy to do that. I think that would be very cool. So that's all I've really got. I was just going to thank you for indulging me as I kind of rant and ramble here tonight, Sunday night, and trying to figure out what's going on in the world. Hope that you have a wonderful evening. If you listen to this, on Monday morning, if you get a chance, hope that you get a chance to listen to it. I'll be posting this tomorrow as the podcast. So if it's Monday morning and you're listening to it, would love to hear your thoughts. Would love to hear any thoughts that you have to say. You can shoot me a message here on Facebook, or you can send me an email at joe@joejustice.org, and would love to hear from you. Hope that you have a wonderful evening. And until next time, bye-bye for now.